The Magic Show is brought to you by StarCityGames.com, and check this out. On October 8th and 9th, the StarCityGames.com Open Series comes to Nashville, and this event is going to be huge. We're talking hundreds of players, over $14,000 in cash prizes, at least 18 players qualify for the Charlotte Invitational at the end of the year. Live coverage all day long courtesy of SCG Live, and as much Magic the Gathering as we can pack into one weekend. So make plans to join StarCityGames.com in Nashville, and we'll see you there. Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of the Magic Show. Now today we are going to wrap up our complete Innistrad set review with Gerry Thompson, as we are going to talk about the artifacts, the multicolor, and all the lands in Innistrad as we are barreling towards the finale. Yeah. Yes. All right, let's get started with Blazing Torch. Now this is a reprint.
It's a cool one.
It's a cool one. It's interesting.
It fits.
They were just like, but can you take vampires off of there? And then Rosewater was like, it's a reprint. So, yeah. So they couldn't take the werewolves off of it. Or, I'm sorry, the vampires off of it. Butcher's Cleaver, however, you know, is another one of those great cards that if it's a whatever, it becomes great. And in this set, it appears like a lot of it, if it's human, then it gets an awesome bonus.
Yep. This is kind of like a new Warhammer-ish type card. Took away the trample, thankfully. Not going to be as annoying to play against.
Yeah. The trample was really what sort of pushed Warhammer over the top.
Yeah.
But lifelink is nice.
Yeah, lifelink's awesome.
Absolutely. Cellar Door, I do not like this card. I feel like the problem, now and here's your problem. Problem is you pay 2 mana to play it, right? And then you play 3 mana to activate it. And then let's say that's not a creature. You paid 5 mana to do nothing. Like, literally nothing. Like, let's just say you paid 3 mana, you tapped it, and they actually did reveal a creature. So you paid 5 mana for a grizzly bear. It's incremental. It's long-lasting. I understand that it's repeatable, but I also understand that there is a high percentage chance that nothing actually happens, and you just whiff a lot.
At least with Druidic Satchel, you know, you get something, no matter what. But this one is like,
Sometimes you just get the feel-bads. Like, an opponent actually played Cellar Door against me, and I was over here playing creatures and doing stuff, and he was just like, do I get a guy? And no, you didn't get a guy. Like, you know, you got my removal spell from the bottom of my deck where I was never going to draw it anyway. So, you know, it's one of those cards. It feels like a skill tester. It feels like one of those cards that you got to be aware that these can lure you down a bad path.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Clifftop Retreat?
These lands are cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they have enemy ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It kind of sucks that all 10 of them are in the same format. And there's no Terramorphic Expanse, no Evolving Wilds. Never realized how much I would miss those cards until they're gone. And my mana bases are all terrible, you know? But
right.
What are you going to do?
The mana bases do kind of look terrible these days, but, you know, like I think they wanted to make you reach for it, and not just give you everything. I mean, we've been pretty spoiled with the first lands.
Agreed.
We've been incredibly spoiled. But, you know, I love the fact that these do exist. I don't know, like, for me, it's you know, they have the original 5 in the core set, and I feel like those aren't going anywhere anytime soon. But, like, what are they going to do with these guys? You know, are they going to keep reprinting them? Are they actually going to put them in the core set as, like, the 10 dual lands? Do they just stick around for a certain amount of time? Part of it is that people want to know, you know, should they buy them now? Should they wait? You know, do they get them for their cubes now? You know, like, because if you wanted to get, you know, foil versions of the basic, or the core set tap lands like this, I mean, you know, they're super cheap now because they reprinted them 3 times. But if you want foil versions of these now, like I do for my cube, you know, it's like, well, do you pony up the amount that they're charging right now, or do you try to wait and see if they're going to reprint them again? Because these lands are wonderfully ubiquitous, you know, and they'll go in a ton of decks. And they like to print these lands because they don't hurt you, which is the number one thing they want to do about dual lands. And, you know, the second is they just, you know, they fuel a lot of decks that need these mana bases.
I'm sad that they're not like Ravnica shock lands, but these are good.
Well, if, you know, the rumors persist, we'll be back in Ravnica before you know it. So, and I certainly expect the Shocklands to be part of that. Cobbled Wings, as I understand it, was originally a broomstick, which I thought would be kind of cool, honestly.
That would be kind of cool.
I mean, it makes perfect sense. I guess it sort of goes into the realm of Harry Potter or something. Gothic horror, I can imagine, doesn't have a lot of broom riding witches, I think was the number one issue. Versus,
fair.
I mean, they have witches, but they just don't have the, little pointy hat and all that crap. It's a little much. But they decided to make it anyway. And I saw this doing some good work at the pre-release.
Typically not worth a card.
Typically not. But obviously, people would just try stuff out, and then they would just get their werewolves flying and get you. Like, that's where I saw this. Creepy Doll, named after the Jonathan Colton song that I've never actually heard. I'm sure it's good.
Didn't even know that was a thing.
That was a thing. They actually made this card for Jonathan Colton, who is a sort of a pop internet-based artist, and he writes songs on his guitar and stuff. And one of them was called Creepy Doll, and here you are.
All right.
So this for me is a fantastic flavor, really cool looking, great art, fantastic flavor text. The child's porcelain hull went missing, and some shears, and the town magistrate. Like that's beautiful. That's just that's the flavor of Innistrad.
Okay, and limited.
And it deals combat damage to a creature, could kill it. It's going to block forever.
Holds off a lot of the werewolves.
Yep. There's not a lot of -X going on in the set, so it could stick around for a while.
Yep.
Pretty good. Demon Male Hauberk. Yeah.
Not worth it.
No, just not getting there.
I don't think so.
No, and we're just talking about limited, of course, but
constructed too. I think.
Well, I mean, certainly constructed, it's not getting there. I don't think, but in limited, I don't know if this is worth sacrificing one of your flying tokens, or certainly not a card. I feel
No.
If it equipped, when it entered the battlefield, and it's equipped with Sacred Creature,
then it's fine.
then it's fine, right?
But
And they obviously pushed it in regards to the bonus that it gave. +4/+2 is, significant.
it's pretty big. But still, it's. I don't know. You gotta sack one of your guys to pump up one of your other guys, and if they kill that, then it's just.
Then you feel terrible.
Yeah, you're in this giant hole.
But it does have awesome flavor text. Comes off as easily as your own skin.
That's good.
That's really good. All right, galvanic juggernaut. Don't chump block this friggin' thing like I did. And I was like, oh sweet, I'll just chump block and it won't untap. Wait, it untapped because then something died. Ah, that was my emotion. That was my roller coaster.
This card seems pretty awesome in limited.
It's really good in limited. It will kill you.
What's the downside here? I don't get it. What's the joke?
I don't know. I guess that it doesn't untap during your untap step. Oh snap.
Just kill something.
Sure. Like, and even when you do stuff like, sacking that brain weevil thing, you know, like we'll untap this. So your opponents can't just, not attack or not do anything or whatever and expect to get through this. This card is really, really good and limited. It's fantastic. How do you feel about Gavin Township?
It's good. Seems like there's some green-white token decks out there. Mentor of the Meek.
Mm-hmm.
Fueling all those. There's still like Blade Splicer, Hero, Blade Hold, Elspeth, Garrick's Make tokens. I mean, there's a lot of different cards to play with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's nice that you do have the, if you're playing some werewolves in your humans deck, you do have another mana sink.
Yep.
This is a way for you to just like have something to do that isn't sort of like embarrassing or just skipping your turn, that actually did something, which is nice. Geistcatcher's Rig, I believe, was a sort of send up to Ecto from Ghostbusters.
I've never seen this card before. It's kind of crazy.
It's pretty nuts. 6 mana, 4/5. Kill your murder of crows.
Yeah.
But I do like how when you think of it in the Ecto Ghostbusters crazy, ghost mobile, it's riding around and it's killing the ghosts.
Yeah.
That's in my head right now. I can't help it. There's something strange in the neighborhood. Who are you going to call? Geistcatcher's Rig. Geistcatcher's Rig.
Whatever it's called.
Whatever. Ghost Corner.
Good reprint.
Excellent reprint.
Has ghost in the name. It's flavorful, right?
There's no more tectonic edges, so...
Well, yeah, that's another one of those things where, like, you never realize how good you had it until it's gone. So you have Ghost Quarter instead of Tech Edge, and then how are you going to play a control deck? There's Kesuk Wolf Run, which we'll get into in a minute, and that card is going to kill you. I'd be fine with...
actually going to end your life.
I'd be fine with Tech Edging that. I'm not too fine with Ghost Quartering it, but...
Oh... Tech Edge is also in line with the manlands. Like, I've been
Yeah.
playtesting. I miss the manlands
Yeah.
so much. They were so good. When you could have 4 more creatures in your deck that also fixed your mana, that were also free. Like,
Now-
it was the good life.
Now we have to get down and dirty.
Yep.
We have to play with some sketchy cards because we don't have that many cards in standard. So
Exactly.
that's all right though.
Ghoul Caller's Bell. Ding, ding, ding. How you feeling about that one?
Mind Shrieker 2.0 or whatever. The middle one? No, not Mind Shrieker. What's the one with the counters?
With the counters?
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. It's not good. We'll skip.
It doesn't matter. Ghoul Caller's Bell is not a card you should be playing in probably any format. I'm sure someone is going to now because I said that.
That's fine.
And I wish you all the best of luck.
Good luck.
I do. Graveyard Shovel. Another card that exists, I think, just purely for flavor.
Yep. Can't be anything else, actually.
Right. I really wish it wasn't equipment, though. It feels like a piece of equipment, right? You're going to equip the shovel, and then you're going to dig, right? And then if the creature digs, then something really cool happens.
So it should be like tap the creature, remove a card, gain 2 life, something like that.
Well, I mean, probably have a much bigger effect because you had to kind of, equip it to a creature and then use the creature to do it. So, what if it, if it's a creature card, then you put a 2/2 into play or a zombie or I don't
Okay,
know.
sure.
Anything
And
neat.
And
It
then
just-
that guy doesn't untap because it's so tired after digging.
Yeah, see? Now we're getting into the flavor.
Man, we should design these cards.
Wrong business. That's what we're in.
Yeah.
All right. Grimoire of the Dead. Now, this is the Necronomicon. They've made the Necronomicon. And what do you think about it?
I feel like if I had the Necronomicon, it'd be a little more powerful.
I mean, it zombifies everything. That's a pretty powerful book.
Gotta do a lot of work to make that good. Should just be good on its own.
Well, I mean, Necronomicon, it takes some sacrifice.
That's fine. That was
You got to cut a little bit
Yeah.
before you get the goodness. And you're like, I'll throw away this, and I'll throw away that, then I'll proliferate and get you.
oh
Huh?
oh.
Huh?
yeah.
Okay. Fine. Hinterland Harbor. Best of land or the green-black one better?
Scalding Tarn is the fetch land that's worth the most.
But does that mean that's going to be the tap land that's worth the most in this cycle?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, this one's highly up there. It's like number 3.
It's good. It's blue.
It's blue.
So it's almost
go.
automatically number 2.
There you go. Almost automatically. So, Inquisitor's Flail is next, and that basically gives you what's the red enchantment that doubles all damage?
Furnace of Wrath.
Furnace of Wrath. Yes, Furnace of Wrath, the creature.
Sure.
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 Sure. Feels like wouldn't be the worst thing on a poison creature.
Yeah, maybe.
It deals double damage to the player, double damage to the creature.
I'm not sure why the flail makes the creature take double damage,
Yeah.
but
If equipped would deal damage to the equipped creature. All right, sure. I mean, it says so. Moving on. Isolated Chapel.
that's a good one. I think the black-white one is like the most necessary, maybe. But
Well, I mean, things like Unburial Rites, like
yeah,
that card would not be nearly as powerful if this card didn't exist in the set. If there wasn't a black-white fixer, a Marsh Flats-esque thing, then, that card would be significantly worse.
Yep.
And may not even be like as big of a deck as it's going to be, I feel, because of it.
the mana's still bad.
Man, it's so bad, but if your lands have to come and play tapped, you'll still play it. Kesuk Wolf Run, buddy. How you feel about this one?
How many times am I going to lose to this card?
Yeah, you are. Trample, baby.
God.
Trample.
Makes everything insane. It's like you're flooded and you're still killing me.
Like, isn't this going to be the sweetness in the Thrun and Dungrove Elder?
Yes.
Red-green, get you, burn spells.
That's the article
Stuff.
that I'm writing tonight has this in it, actually, in the Dungrove deck.
It seems very good. It seems positive. I'm excited about it.
And Knight of the Reliquary also.
Oh, wow.
Pretty good with that.
Wow. I mean, it'll let you kill them out of nowhere so they can't chump block with their noble hierarchs, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, all right, sure, get you. Manor Gargoyle, how do you feel about it?
You're talking about the Brimstone Dragon. Why can't we have Brimstone Gargoyle?
Yeah.
There's already a Gargoyle.
Well, man or gargoyle, which do you choose?
You can't do it with the skeleton in this.
Well, you can because like this is actually they actually did it on this one because you turn it into something real and then it turns back into something not real, right? Man or gargoyle. Oh. We're clever. We're clever.
Not we. Just you, Evan.
I'm clever?
Yeah.
I'm special.
Good limited, non-constructed. One of those. Moving on.
Gilbic. All right. Good and limited, bad constructed. Mask of Avacyn. Yeah? What do you think about that one?
I'd rather play Swiftfoot Boots, I think.
Yeah, I mean, certainly in constructed it's going nowhere, but in terms of limited, I wouldn't mind sticking that on a flyer.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not bad in limited.
no, it doesn't seem terrible at all. Meh.
I'm not impressed.
I'm not like falling over myself to put it in any of my decks. I feel like I wouldn't draft it very highly, over just like a really good creature. But ultimately, 6th to 8th pick seems okay.
Yeah.
Now, Moorland Haunt. Many have called it the best land in terms of this cycle. How do you feel?
I think the Wolf Run is probably better. It's going to be like the Titans, right? Where like it's going to be a flavor of the week type thing, I think. Like black red's going to be good, and like this black red land and like shocks them is going to be insane. Like now the Wolf Run is awesome because the Moorland Haunt has taken over and they have all these 1/1 chump blockers.
Now you trample over and stuff, and
so
yeah,
I don't know. They're all pretty awesome. This one's definitely good. This is like more Squadron Hawks,
right.
So because we obviously needed that.
We really needed that, didn't we? Okay, moving on to the Nephalia Drown Yard. That's an interesting card.
We used to play Millstone.
We did.
In my day.
Oh, mine too, buddy.
My day.
Mine.
And this card is a better Millstone. But not good, really. It's better when you're milling yourself,
I mean,
actually.
it's going to take, black and blue mana where Millstone never needed that. It's going to have to tap itself, but it does tap for mana, which Millstone never did.
It doesn't take up a slot. It's a land.
Which is why those manlands were so fan-freaking-tastic.
Exactly.
I mean, do you feel like this is actually going to hit constructed? People are going to be actively, like, drown yarding themselves?
Probably.
Huh.
I don't think it's going to be the number one thing that they're doing, but it's definitely going to be like a 2 or 3 of in some decks.
I think this is a card that feels to me like they won't be doing it at first, but as multiple sets are released or more sets are released, you're going to find that this type of card fuels a lot of strategies.
Like the Solar Flare deck would play this card if the mana was better. If they were able to do that, that would be in the deck for sure.
Sure. But now they don't have their like manlands and dual lands and stuff.
Yeah, and all the lands come to play tapped, and you need to play like Liliana and Day of Judgment and a bunch of blue stuff. And
right, and this type of land just kind of screws up your entire plan, as it were, unfortunately. So the one-eyed scarecrow.
Yar.
Arr. Get you.
Kind of cool. Scares the birds off.
Yep. Creatures with flying, get -1. That's cute. That's just cute.
3 mana, 2/3 is still not that bad.
It's not terrible. I mean, I had it in my sealed, and I was going to play it because my opponent had a lot of flyers, but then ultimately I just wanted a guy that could attack, which was basically where I was at. So I feel like that may be where a lot of players are at with this card. They'll see it, and they'll be like, well, he's a guy, but I really need to attack. So
It can block on the ground, and it stops their Air Force, though, so like maybe it helps you race really well.
it helps you race a lot better, certainly. Making their Murder of Crows a 3/4 is appreciated. Runechanter's Pike is probably just not great, and certainly not great in constructed. I don't even know how good it is in limited. It seems kind of iffy.
Yeah, it seems worse in limited than constructed. At least in constructed, you can build like a Wee Dragonauts, Kiln Fiend, like this thing type of deck, and
Sure. But, I mean, and again, as we continue, Forbidden Alchemy would fuel a card of this nature. But yeah, in limited, it just seems like you're rarely over, maybe 7 tops.
And if you have more than that, then you don't have any creatures to put it on. So
Yeah, and so this actually would be fighting with your sorceries and instants to get it where it needs to be. So Sharpen Pitchfork, I just love. I think it's brilliant.
pretty funny.
Just a wonderful, amazing card that exists. I'm glad it exists. It's like, this is the card that, because they said flavor is going to rule everything. That's why this card exists. That's why this card is named why it's named, and it looks how it looks, and it acts how it acts. If it weren't for that whole overarching flavor rules everything, this wouldn't exist.
And it's fine, too.
Yeah. I mean, in limited, seems fine.
This card makes me sad.
Shimmering Grotto makes you sad?
Yeah.
Why?
Makes me really sad. Because
Why?
it's not good.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean it's not good?
If Terramorphic Expanse was legal, and this card was legal, I'd be fine with it. But we have this instead of Expanse.
So you're saying you will not play Shimmer and Grotto?
I might, actually. As sad as it... Like, that's why it makes me sad. It's because it's not good, and I'll probably end up having it in a couple of my decks.
But here's the thing. When they keep removing things, they make it good. It is good because there's nothing else like it.
This card never becomes good, no matter what happens. You're always down a mana. Like, yeah...
You're down a mana, yes.
Yeah, you're going to, like, fix it or whatever, but you're still down a mana.
I agree. It's certainly not optimal.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is that when you remove all the other options, you make the only option the good option.
I would rather just split my basics into, like, 8 and 8 than play this card in Constructed, you know, if I'm playing 2 colors. But if I'm playing 3 colors, like, I probably need to play 2 of them or something, as sad as that is.
That's sad. Very sad. Silver Inlaid Dagger. I saw some good work being done with this and or the Butcher's Cleaver and Invisible Stalker. Invisible Stalker with this card or that card was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I could see that.
The Cleaver was a little more ridiculous because it had lifelink, as well as hexproof. But
this one's a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
which is pretty nice.
Yeah, it comes down early, and it still gives +2/+0 as well as an additional bonus. So things like my flyers, my little spirit flyer guys, could turn into 3/1s.
Yep.
And that was pretty good. Certainly a very fine playable spell, unlimited, no doubt about it. Stincia Bloodhall.
It's good.
Yeah.
Vampires probably would have played like 1 or 2 of these. It's tough because they had a lot of like double black stuff.
Well, they had Lava Claw Reaches, which I felt was just probably better than this card would ever have been in that deck.
No, agreed, but it's not like you're cutting Lava Claw Reaches for this,
True.
It's like something that you would play in addition. Be a nice effect to have.
Yeah, I've played a little bit against this card in some playtesting and found that it's a little slower than it looks right now.
Yeah, 6 mana is a lot.
Because, it really is 6 mana because it's the land and the 5 mana, so...
And it's like the bump in the night type thing where it's like, yeah, it's Lava Spike and it's Flashback, but how often do you actually get to 6? And it's the same thing with this. Hopefully the colorless land doesn't screw you too much.
Right. It helps that you flood out, but ultimately it doesn't, I feel, sort of get you where you need it to be. If it was 5 mana, or if it were 4 mana, it would probably be, enough to get there.
Yeah.
And
again, it's that big difference between like 4 and 5 or 5 and 6. Makes all the difference.
It really does. If this, it's like for me, I'm like, if this were 4.5 mana, it'd be perfect. Perfect.
Halves don't exist.
Gosh, yet. Hopefully.
Sulfur Falls.
Sulfur Falls, best?
I think so.
Yeah?
I think so.
It's a fine card, and is going to be going into a ton of decks. Like the red-blue decks seem definitely viable.
Yep.
Plays well with all the other lands. Let's see here. Traveler's Amulet. I had a good time with this card in Sealed.
It's the twig.
It's the twigs. It's the sweet twigs. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
It's 100% playable and limited. In draft, maybe not quite as much, but certainly every sealed pool you have, you better be playing this thing.
Well, I only really like this card if it's taking the place of a land. Because ultimately it is a land.
Wow. So you don't want to play it, otherwise?
If I'm 3 colors, I'll definitely play it. But if I'm like kind of on the fence about being 18, my mana's kind of sketchy, like then I'll play this. But I don't want to play like 17 lands in one of these if my deck is a normal limited deck,
That's fair. I was playing 3 colors in my sealed. And
okay, there you go. Then yeah.
Right. This and the Caravan Vigil, the green, search
Yep.
for a land and put it into play if something died. Those 2 cards were fantastic at enabling my my couple red cards.
Okay.
So
were you playing 16 lands or 17? Or?
17.
Okay, so then you basically had 19 because those cards aren't going to do anything except be lands.
Sure.
So
Yeah, and I didn't have mana problems, so.
results oriented.
Heaven Irwin, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Trepanation Blade really went like way on the fence on this one. The first time I saw it, somebody played it against me, it was terrible. It was like, what are you doing? You just wasted your turn and nothing happened because I flipped over a land and whatever. And then the second time, somebody played it on a Stitch Drake and then dealt me 7 and then dealt me 6 and then killed me. It's a very swingy rando type of card.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't expect this to do more than like 2 damage on average, so.
Yeah, and me either.
Doesn't seem all that good.
But this is a card that I thought was not good and killed me. So
Stitch Drake is like tough to beat anyway. It might have killed you faster, but
right. Well, I mean, it's always going to give them +1, guaranteed. And Stitch Drake by itself is amazing, but it turns that Stitch Drake into a 5+ power flyer every turn.
Yeah.
Because statistically, I'm pretty sure you're going to get probably an average of 2 cards every time.
Yeah.
So +2/+0, and that made it 5 damage in the air, and that was significant. So certainly nowhere near constructed, but in limited was a lot better than I expected.
yeah, in constructed, this is the same cost as Sword. So
No, not going to happen. Witchbane Orb,
this one's cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's cool. I mean, it's one of those cards that I'm glad it exists. It's neat because it works, it sort of flavorfully explains how to get rid of all the curses that you have on you, and, just
And
gives you
just-
hexproof.
Ivory Mask,
Right. Ley Line of Sanctity, even, because you have hexproof. Wooden Stake,
Funny.
super flavorful.
Yeah.
So sick. Oh, so good. If it becomes blocks or becomes blocked, if it's blocks or become blocked by a vampire, destroy that creature. So good. I'm glad it exists. I'm waiting for, I guess they can't really do the silver bullet,
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Need a gun to load it into and just...
Yeah, and they really don't want to do guns and magic. They really don't want to do guns and magic. Woodland Cemetery is our final tap land, and I think the best one, certainly worth the most right now. As of this recording, it is worth the most of any of the lands. So people will love the black-green tap lands, for sure. Lastly, we're going to talk about the multicolored cards, and we're going to start with, again, oh my god, I love this set so much.
The flavor.
The flavor is so amazing! How sick is Evil Twin? How sick is this card?
I think Chapin told me about this card at Grand Prix Pittsburgh, and it just made a ton of sense,
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I mean, and I don't want to go too far, but I'm just saying, if you were to have it enter the battlefield as a copy of Tarmogoyf, and then being able to just kill the Tarmogoyfs, for the rest of the game, doesn't seem terrible.
Well, that's never going to happen.
That's never going to happen, is it?
If it did, it'd be good.
If it did, okay, fine. That's Evan and his little Christmas, magical Christmas land. But that excites me. But regardless, I feel like this is it's not super overpowered. It's not going to define standard.
No.
But it's just one of the coolest, most flavorful things I've ever seen.
It's good. It's cool. It makes sense. Like, the picture's awesome.
It's just so nice. All right, so as for a constructed all-star,
Yeah.
Geist of St. Traft is the real deal.
This card's scary.
Card scares the stuff out of me.
Yeah.
He scares me a lot. I don't know what to say. Like, really?
When did blue-white become the beat-down color?
Right. When did, in a world full of swords of overed and powered, they decided to give you the hexproof 3-drop?
It's fine. Things could be worse. There could be Mystics and Batter Skulls, and that'd be way, way worse.
Way worse than just having to power class in this guy or whatever. But the fact that you can't, part of it is that you can't dismember him, right?
Yeah.
So that's partly a good thing, Dismember isn't the ubiquitous kills everything thing,
Yeah.
right? And the other half, you go, what is blue-white doing with 6 power for 3 mana? Equip sword and wreck you.
Yeah, this card's crazy. I don't know.
I don't know. What do you think at this point? Like one of the defining cards of Standard?
Yeah, should be. This card is just good on its own. Blue-white is a good color combination. The mana base for that is fine. Like the color demands aren't split too much. Like the Solar Flare deck where you need double white, double black, basically double blue to Snapcaster or Mana Leak or whatever.
Sure.
So the mana's there, the cards are there, the tools are all there. You have swords, counterspells, some removal. You get Dismember and Oblivion Ring. This card's gonna be awesome.
It's going to define, I think, some metagames for a while. Grimgrin, Corpseborn. Cute.
Very good and limited.
Insane and limited. You have to sack a creature or what have you to untap him, but okay.
That's fine.
I'll give up my token to kill your best guy.
Yeah, you get that value right back unless you think they have something.
Right.
But
Seems good. And it's one of those cards that, I think was made to be an EDH general. and that's great, and that it's not going to hit constructed, and it's going to be awesome and limited, and it's going to fill this fantastic role in the casual space, and that's where it needs to be.
Yeah.
You know, and that's sweet. Olivia Voldaren is our final card from Innistrad.
This card's insane and limited.
Card's nuts. But yeah, and this is the best part. This is actually one of the best things I love about Innistrad Limited. It's not unbeatable by any means.
Yeah.
There are ways to kill this card. There are a bajillion ways to kill this card, from Brimstone Volley to Prey Upon to whatever. You know, like there's ways in which this card is amazing, and it certainly is. But there's also the other half of it is that it's not unbeatable. It's not Drana. You know, Drana and Rise of the Eldrazi was just so nuts. There was like 2 cards that could answer it. Flame Slash and some other X spell.
Induce.
And yeah, Induce Despair. And so it was, you know, like I really disliked when they made spells that were that good.
And this one's mythic as well, whereas Drana was not.
Right. So in Drana they were like, well, it's got to be rare because it's got to go in the intro pack. And I'm like, so it's going to screw up all these limited games, in which it did. You know, somebody would open Drana and they would just go black because that card is unfreaking beatable in Rise of the Eldrazi Limited. And I understand that, you know, you untap with Olivia, you know, things are going to happen, very good things for you, but it is not an unbeatable monster. And that I appreciate.
Yes.
So do you think it actually has any legs in Constructed?
It's possible. It's good enough. I mean, as long as the creatures are small enough, so that, like, the mass score ability matters, then I think that will be a big part of it. And, I mean, 4 mana for a 3/3 flyer is not that bad either, but there's the Blood Keep vampire that makes the 2/2s, you know, like that's competing with that. So it just depends on what effect you want more.
Yeah, and I think ultimately the problem is that, you know, Geist of St. Traft is going to run over Olivia in ways that Olivia can't run over Geist of St. Traft. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was our complete Innistrad set review. Gerry Thompson, how do you feel about Innistrad?
It's cool.
Yeah?
I have much respect for all the guys that worked on this set. You know, it's very obvious that they put a lot of work in. Yeah. And that's cool, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm a Magic player, right? And I still like the set, so.
Yeah? So, what are your favorite cards from the set?
I want to play with Past in Flames. I think that card's cool. I like just having a bunch of instants, like screw creatures. I don't need them. I want to play that card. Forbidden Alchemy is cool, but I think I like it less than a lot of other people do. Like 3 mana, kind of too much.
Yeah?
But
I mean, it is a common, and I know they sort of had to push it in some regard because it was a common, you know, maybe make it a little more expensive because of that fact.
Yeah.
But
no, I understand it being 3 mana and not 2, or, you know, 2 mana and 3 cards instead of 4 or something, but 3's a lot.
3 is a lot. I feel like, you know, and you know, Patrick Sullivan touched on this a little bit, in that it seems interesting that Snapcaster Mage is going to be, you know, such a huge thing. Geist of St. Traft and Snapcaster Mage alone, by themselves, is going to be this thing, you know? And Magic has been about blue-white for so long now. And I think people are just ready. You know, like for me, I'm really, really hoping that the werewolf deck can get there. You know, like, is there a green-red aggro thing? Dungrove,
Not yet.
Thrun, something, you know, that can actually overtake a hexproof guy that makes angels when it attacks, you know, that has swords attached to it, and then you're playing Gideons, and then you're playing whatever, you know. And then Snapcaster is buying back all of your best spells. So, you know, and for me, I'm a little trepidatious in sort of where the metagame is going to go once all this is out in the open.
The red deck is still good, at least.
And that's good.
Yeah.
It needs to be. So, any parting words?
Anyone has any sweet Past in Flames decks, I'll take a look at them.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Nice. Well, I certainly appreciate your time. It's been fun.
It has been fun.
So for Gerry Thompson and Evan Irwin, we are tapping the cards so you don't have to.
always like the fatties.